Being fully booked is not the goal. Being fully booked and in control of your calendar and life is the goal. Welcome back to the CEO Photog Club, where we don't just build busy businesses, we're going to build ones that actually work with us, work for us, and fit into our beautiful lives. So today I'm going to break down exactly how I handle my super high volume weeks, multiple shoots, full calendars, deadlines without burning out. Now, I'm going to say this as a little disclaimer. There are times where I don't handle these high volume weeks very well and do burn out. So I have learned over the years that it takes a lot of intentional planning. Even after 15 years of doing this and doing it at a very high volume, there are still times where I'm not applying all the things that I'm going to talk about today, and I do burn out. So these are things that it's not just a muscle that eventually it doesn't feel like burnout. No, these are like systems that I have to still follow in order to not get to the end of the week and feel like, oh my gosh, what just happened? So we're going to talk about batching, delegating, and the systems that keep everything moving. For those of you who are new here, my name's Kylie. I own Kylie Ann Studios, and last year we shot 650 projects in a year. Now, I probably shot more than half of those projects, maybe about half. I'm just a high volume shooter. I just am. I always have been. As my capacity has grown over the last 15 years, I've just added more and more and more until I'm literally like shooting 20 shoots in a week, something like that. And I've learned that the real problem with busy, it's not the number of shoots you have, it's the lack of structure around them. Chaos doesn't come from having too much volume, it's without the plan, right? It's having the volume without plan, systems, delegation, these other things that you can do to help you with that volume. So step one is to control your calendar first. This is very, 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 very important. Even last week, I went back through my calendar and made sure that I had my days delegated how they should be, because I was getting to a point where I was like, I don't have any space. I'm filling it all. It's Maycember, as people call it. May is a very busy month for moms and a very busy month for photographers, and you marry the two and you've got chaos. And there are days where I'm going from preschool to preschool, then to a brand shoot, and then I have family shoots or seniors in the evening. And it's full chaos. And if I'm filling every single one of my days with shoots, that's not going to be sustainable. So what you don't want to do, book shoots at random times, let clients pick any location, any day, any schedule, and stack shoots without buffers in between to edit and to do computer work and that kind of thing. So what you should do is time blocking. So I've talked about time blocking a million times. It's something I still am talking about. So I want you to know, like, if you're a longtime listener and you hear things that you've heard before, keep in mind those are things I'm still using and they still are applicable. And sometimes I forget myself, like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, this blah, 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 blah. And I look at my schedule and I didn't time block it. And then when I go back and I time block it, and it feels like everything is going to be okay, because now I have things separated. So what is time blocking? Time blocking is when you are blocking off time to be for a certain task. So for me, how that looks in my photography business is I have my shoot days, my admin days where I'm doing like talking to clients, sending galleries, that kind of stuff. I have editing days or times, and I have CEO days. I just barely added the CEO days this year, and I'm loving it because it's helping me to have days where I'm like planning a bigger vision and kind of putting things on my calendar that bring fulfillment or grow the business in different ways. So let's talk about each of these days. So for me, I do brand photography by day and family and seniors and stuff at night. Now, family and seniors is more seasonal. May and October are our very busiest months. And then obviously like April and September kind of as well. And then throughout the year, I'll do family sessions for my longtime clients. But most of my work is commercial work during the day. So when I'm doing commercial work during the day, I don't want to be shooting Monday through Friday, because then I'm not doing computer work. I'm not recording my podcast. I'm not doing coaching calls. I'm not editing. I'm not having time to pause and breathe and catch up on my house and all these other things, right? So what I like to do is have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday be my only shoot days. And I like to start with just two of them being full first before we move to the third. So Tuesday, Wednesday are shoot days. Instead of doing a shoot each day and like spreading it out, I'd rather stack Wednesday, have 2 or 3, and then Tuesday have 2 or 3 instead of having one each day. One thing that's amazing about this is it gets my head in the right headspace, right? I'm in shooting headspace. So it's easy to go from one shoot to the next shoot to the next shoot instead of going from a shoot to a coaching call to a podcast interview to taking my kid to the dentist and then back to do a shoot, right? So see how your brain can just get into a mode and the flow is just there. So I have my shoot days. And then for me, I have Monday and Friday as kind of CEO and admin days, kind of split in half. So admin work in the beginning, Monday morning, it's like, let's catch up on all the emails from the weekend, anything that I need to answer for my team, that kind of stuff. And then the afternoon is spent on more vision work where I can plan space for what I want to do, goal setting, update goals, that kind of stuff. And then on Friday, it's kind of like the admin, let's finish everything off, send off all the galleries for the week, anything that I need to just wrap up or prepare for the next week. And then the second half is more CEO time, how did this week look? What do I need to change? Where do I need to step in on different parts of my team, different systems that need to be updated, team meetings that we need to have, that kind of stuff. So my week, when someone is like, hey, can you do a shoot for me this next week? I look at my calendar, and even though maybe I don't have anything scheduled on Monday or scheduled on Friday, I try to say okay, my next opening is Wednesday at 2 because I blocked off that time so that I can be a good boss, a good manager of this team, and a good CEO and plan our future. And I also have, admin tasks and things to wrap up and things to send and all that stuff. So what's super nice about doing it like this is that each day I'm in the flow for that task. On Mondays, it's a computer day. I'm in the flow. I'm in my office. It just everything, as you're writing, you can write better, you're writing all at one time, right? Or you're responding to things all at one time, or you're fixing systems all at one time, and it just flows. On Tuesday and Wednesday and sometimes Thursday, it's photography mode. And I like to hold the last chunk of the day. So I shoot from 10 until 2, and then my kids get home at 3:30. So from 2 to 3:30 is editing time. And so I like to block in the editing time on those shoot days right after so that I can and get them edited right away. And we can talk about this later, but now that I'm using Imagen AI, I always thought it was Imagen because image, it makes sense. But I went to a conference recently and it's Imagen. So I'm sorry if I say Imagen sometimes. It's Imagen AI. Now that I'm using Imagen, it's so quick. I can and I can put it to Imagen real quick, go make a snack, come back, it's edited, and then I can go through each individual image and make sure it's perfected and upload it. And then everything I shot that morning is now uploaded and delivered before my kids get home from school. So this is why time blocking is so, so important. It helps you just get your tasks into those streamlined days and times, and then it flows. Now, there are going to be things that come up. So for me, I have a Women in Business luncheon every Wednesday, or every middle of the month Wednesday. So one Wednesday a month. So I have to move my shoots to Monday on that week. And then I also have every other week, I'm in a mastermind on Tuesdays. So on those weeks, I have my shoots on Thursdays instead of Tuesdays. So it's not meant to be so rigid that you can't say no to opportunities that obviously make sense. This is just to help you schedule in shoots into your life and make it make sense for your schedule and for your energy. Because when you're doing tasks that are all the same energy, it's going to be a lot easier than stopping going. So what's great about this is you're not switching roles every hour, and you can group a lot of the tasks together. And so you're in that flow and you get it going. And it also helps protect your capacity. So you can kind of max out on your shoots that you're able to take. So if I am doing 2 shoot days or maybe 3 shoot days, the max shoots I can take in a week is going to be probably 9, which sounds like a lot, and I have done it. And if I do more than that, it's overwhelming. So 9 is a good max for commercial. And then in addition to the 9, I also have my nights that I batch. So I like to shoot on Tuesdays and Thursday nights as well. And so I usually shoot a lot in the middle of the week, but then I kind of get longer weekends and rest in between, which really does help. And it builds in that buffer time. So if your calendar is chaotic and you're like, I can take a shoot Monday morning and Monday night and Tuesday afternoon and then, Thursday morning and then Saturday morning and then Sunday night, your business is going to be chaotic too, because there's just no structure to it. Now, I know there's seasons where there are weddings or extended families or things where it you cannot change the date. They're not going to fit into your Tuesday, Thursday window. That happens with me too. It every day. So on those weeks, I just try to make sure that I'm still doing that white space in between. So if, for example, this week I had a shoot on Thursday night and then I had shoots Tuesday night. Now, some of them are trying to reschedule. So instead of opening Friday, so now I'm shooting Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm trying to see if the Tuesday can come 30 minutes before my Thursday. So we're still trying to batch some of these things together so that we're not like the ones that we can't move, we can combine with things that we can move. Does that make sense? So hopefully that helps a little bit. And we'll talk about this again and again. So step 2 is batching, which is kind of what I'm just talking about. But batching is how we're going to survive high volume seasons. So shooting in one location and stacking them in a row is really helpful. I do mini sessions like that. So instead of giving up 3 nights for my clients that have been around for 11 years, I want to do their family pictures, I have a mini night and I stack 3 or 4 in a row at one location. And it's giving up 1 night for 4 clients. And that is really helpful because I honestly just do not have enough nights to give every client a full night. I just don't. And so I have really mastered the mini sessions where people actually enjoy them and love them and they get exactly what they want. And it works for them and it works for me. Problem is I just have too many clients to if we shot 650 projects last year, think about that. Like that means at least 2 a days, right? And it's not feasible to shoot every single day of your entire life, right? The other thing is editing. I cull and edit everything from that day in a chunk. We're all right together so that it's, at the same time, I'm in the right space. Same with emails. If I'm sitting down to do emails on Monday morning and Friday morning, I'm just going to sit there and pump out emails. I'm not going to do email and then edit and then go do a shoot and then come back and do some emails. I'm going to sit down and write my emails. And it just goes a lot better when you're batching them because you're in the right headspace, just like with the time stacking and the time blocking. Also, creating content. This one is huge to do all at once. I like to do my content for an entire week. I like to do it on Sunday night. I feel like after a long weekend and recovering and, a family day, I can sit in my bed and look at the week and schedule things out and kind of be in the right flow for that. So it's really helpful for me to do that a week at a time. And then, of course, blogging and that kind of marketing, email marketing, that kind of stuff as well. So instead of shooting and editing and emailing and posting every single day, we're grouping those tasks so that your brain isn't constantly switching from one to the other, and it makes you a lot more efficient, and it helps so that you don't get as much of that like brain fog and brain fatigue. Switching costs you so much more than you think and and so I promise you batching them together is just going to completely change everything for you. Okay, step 3, simplify your workflow. So if every client is custom, you're going to burn out just because you don't have the capacity to do an individualized custom workflow for each person, unless you are a small volume person. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're like trying to figure out how to deal with high volume, weeks. And that's why you're here, right? So for me, it's really important that every client gets the same experience no matter how busy I am. I know that if I'm giving every single client a custom experience, then the clients that book me during my busy weeks are going to get gypped because I just don't have the capacity to create a great custom flow for them in the chaos. So that is why I have a repeatable session flow, no matter if I'm busy or if I'm totally free. They're going to get the same experience from me no matter what. They're going to get the same prep guide automatically sent to them that's like what to expect and outfit ideas. And they're going to get the same template of here's what to prepare for your session. And they're going to get the same reminders because I have that in my system a week before every session. I have a calendar thing pop up to me, remind them of their session. And then I use the template that has the location, the date, the time, all the different things. And it's going to be the same for every single client. And then I have the same turnaround time for every client. It does not matter if they book me in the middle of the busiest season of my life or if they book me in the slowest season of my life. They are going to get the same experience from me because I use a repeated workflow. Simple, scales, custom, exhausts. So if you're doing all these different things for all these different people, customize that into one client experience that works for every single person. Okay, and then step 4, you gotta delegate before you feel ready. If you're always so busy, but then you don't never have time to hire and you're never getting ahead of it, it's gonna be really hard when you get even busier. You're gonna be too busy to break through that delegation barrier. And so I would suggest you start doing that now in simple ways. So using Imagine AI is one of those ways that you can free up your capacity without hiring and committing committing to like a person, right? So editing, they also do calling on Imagine AI. Also admin, like having someone help with emails and scheduling. If you don't have a CRM, start with a CRM using something like Honeybook, Dubsto. I'm a big fan of Honeybook, obviously, and I have a code and a link for that for a coupon that I'll leave in the show notes. But if you don't have something like that, go there, get a program before you hire a person. Even just having a program is going to consolidate and help you a ton. Maybe that's for a blogger. But if you're the bottleneck, your business is going to feel heavy because everything stops at you, right? Like if you're like, I'm so behind on posting content, it's all here because I'm over here shooting. Or I'm so behind on answering my emails. Like you're the bottleneck. You're stopping growth from happening because you're not doing the things that grow your business because you're working in the business, which is great because that means you have a great business going on. But if you want to keep growing after that season of hustle and you're like, oh, when this slows down, I'll do those things I know will grow my business. It's not going to slow down. And maybe it will, but it might be too late because you might have lost people in between that you could have been shooting had you had someone else helping you with those tasks. So I would really consider hiring a virtual assistant, maybe someone that even gets your calling and your editing started with Imagine AI, and they answer your emails and you send your contracts and they update your blog, that kind of stuff. It could really just change your entire business and life, especially on those busy weeks. I know that I can go out and shoot 20 sessions in a week. And if I'm overwhelmed, I can outsource the editing. I know that all my emails are being answered by my VA. All the blogs are being scheduled. All the social media is being scheduled. I can literally just focus on my job because I have delegated so many of the other tasks behind running my business. And lastly, you've got to create a busy week system. So you've got to okay, if you're like, this week is so busy, go on your actual calendar and color it out and be like, okay, I don't have anything here. I'm going to do all my emails and planning for the week and content scheduling in the beginning. You're going to color it. This is me coloring. And then you're going to okay, all my shoots are Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm just going to shoot. And then I'm going to have this section be culling and editing. And then Thursday, the whole morning, I'm going to work on delivering galleries and answering any emails. And then Friday, I'm going to work on blogging, email, all that stuff. So you're just going to plan out your day, color code it, figure it out a week in advance so that when you look at the calendar, you're not so stressed because you know there's a place where the admin work is going. Because I think a lot of us photographers, we schedule stuff and we know that we're going to do shoots, but we're not scheduling in the culling and the editing and the admin work. And then that's when we're overwhelmed because we filled our schedule so full of shoots that we don't have time to catch up on any of the shoots. So you need to decide where your time is going every day and follow a system. And it can look different each week. Like you don't have to have a rigid week schedule. Obviously the time blocking is going to help. But if you have a couple busy weeks coming up, just go in and make it work for you. Like, okay, I have to pick up my kid from, practice on this day. So maybe I go early and I sit in the car and I call images at this time. And then maybe it doesn't have to be like I have to sit at a desk and do all these things, right? Like it can be whatever it looks like for you. And one thing I wanted to add is that make sure you're adding joy into that schedule too. A couple years ago, I think it was 2 summers ago, in June, I was so busy. I was the breadwinner at the time. And so I was just taking on every single job that was coming because I was like, I just have to work. And in doing that, I was burning myself out really quickly because I was shooting all day in the studio. And then I was going and doing extended families at Bear Lake every night. And I was so just overwhelmed. And I love summer. And I just felt like I was missing it. And I was just so sad. And so what I started doing is adding joy in every day. So one day I took my kids up early to Bear Lake and we played in the pool for a couple hours and then I did my session. And then the next day, we went and did a walk in the morning to a park or whatever. And then I went and did my shoots. And so I was adding joy in and that helped with the burnout so much because I was still enjoying each day, even though I was also working a lot. And that really helped me with surviving those really, really busy weeks. It really helps when you plan out your week before it starts. Sunday night, Monday morning, this is a non-negotiable. You review your schedule, confirm your sessions, make sure you have your gear packed and your batteries charged and you know your deadlines and you have your little schedule colored in of when you're doing admin work, when you're doing culling, all that kind of stuff. And that 20 minutes of planning is going to save you so many hours of stress. I know I already said lastly, but another thing I want to add is that you've got to lower the noise. So during those high volume weeks, less scrolling. For me, I brick my phone a lot. So I use this little brick. For those on the video, can see the video. I use this brick and I close down my phone. So I actually haven't had my phone. It's 9:29 right now when I'm recording this episode, and I haven't had my phone on in the last 12 hours. Like I haven't even checked Instagram today. I literally recording this podcast before I even check Instagram. And that is so helpful for me on these busy weeks because then I'm getting so much more done instead of doom scrolling or, catching up with friends. Like it's not all bad, right? It's not all bad. Not posting yet. I'm not doing anything on there because I need to focus on the tasks at hand. Also, less just like, should I do this? Should I do that? Like just do what you need to do and don't do what you don't need to do. Like I know that's like sounds like, well, duh, but like I think a lot of times we're like, oh, should I wear this? Should I do this? Should I do this now or later? And we're not just making choices. We just need to make choices. Like we don't have time to decide what we're doing, what we're not doing. Should I go to the gym today? Should I do this today? Should I go on a walk? We're just gonna like execute the plan and focus in, dial in on what you need to do. And for me, a calendar works the best. Putting things I need to do in a calendar, like I have recording day scheduled and how many episodes I need to record on the calendar so that I know that that's what I'm going to do today. And then I have a shoot and then I'm going to go to the gym. That's all on the calendar. Now I might decide later not to go to the gym. My eyes are flared up right now. I am going through an MCAS flare up. I woke up with really swollen eyes and they're puffy. And so, if the time comes where I'm like, oh, that's not going to be helpful, maybe I'll go on a walk instead. But it's still on the schedule so that it's accounted for. And then I can make the decisions on the day of if this is right for me today or not. But if you don't have it on the schedule at all, you're not going to even be faced with that decision of what's right for you. You're just going to be like, oh, what should I do with this time? I'm going to doom scroll, right? So that's why putting things on a calendar and setting the intention that you're going to do stuff is going to help you in the long run. Not every single week is for creativity and all this extra time. Some weeks are for execution and you just have to get to work. You don't need to feel behind when you're busy. Like, oh my gosh, all my friends are doing all these things and my laundry is so backed up and all these things that go in our mind when we're so busy. For me, I always think, I always get through this. I know it's going to be better in 2 weeks. And I really just know sometimes there's just a season of hustle in these busy months and I just have to get through it. Maybe that's summer. Maybe that's fall. I don't know what it is. And you can come back and listen to this episode when you're in those busy weeks, but you don't need more hustle. You just need better systems in order to get through these weeks. So to handle these high volume weeks, control your calendar. Batch your tasks, simplify your workflow, delegate early, follow a weekly structure, and protect your focus and energy. You can be fully booked and still feel calm and grounded and organized and joyful and in control, but only if you build your business on purpose. So I am reminding you that I fall into the trap of burnout all the time and have to come back to these things too. But it is very possible to feel calm, cool, and collected and shoot 20 shoots in a week. And I do it all the freaking time, unfortunately. And I would love to help you do that too. So follow these steps. If this episode helped you, send it to a photographer that you know is in busy season with you. And then come tell me what part of your week feels the most chaotic right now. I want you to DM me. And if we need to brainstorm like a specific fix for that thing, I would be happy to. I want you to feel like you can handle these high volume weeks because you can. And I will also say that over time, my capacity has grown. I remember when one task a day or one appointment a day or one shoot a day felt stressful. And I would think about that all day the day before until that task was over. And then I'd be relieved. It doesn't have to stay like that. And it won't. You're going to grow that muscle and build that capacity over time. I went from being like that to now being able to do like 10 things in one day and not feel stressed about it at all and just know this is my day. I'm going to get through it. It's going to be fun. I love it. And it doesn't stress me out. So it's a muscle. You build it by doing the things we just talked about. It can be challenging and some weeks are better than others, but just know that it's possible to do this without feeling burnout, overworked, and just bleh. So this meeting is now adjourned. Go build like a CEO. I'm so excited to be back and I'll see you next